What's up and welcome to Brando's World of X Games. Really excited about our next guest. He may have more stamps on his passport than you, certainly than you watching, but maybe any athlete we've had on the show. Have bike, will travel. He is Brad Sims joining us now from good old Austin, Texas. Brad, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How's everything with you?
Yeah, all's well. We just recently discovered that we're both living in the same city. I know you were here a while back, like 5 years ago, and then moved back here almost a year ago. So, what sparked the move to come back to Austin?
Well, where I was living in Maryland, I love it there, but there's not much of a BMX scene.
Yeah,
And I think Austin's one of the, 4 or 5 meccas for BMX in the world. So, what better place to move back to?
yeah. You mentioned that about a Mecca, and that's something I don't think I fully appreciated until probably, I guess, X Games came here, in like 2014, and we came out and started filming stuff and met with Chase Hawk and Aaron Ross, and I was like, whoa, this is like a really heavy entrenched BMX community. Why do you think that is? Is it just some of the riders who grew up here and then just slowly people started gravitating towards Austin? What makes it such a unique BMX spot?
It's say with the history of it's a very historical BMX town, and you had the older generation that was here before me. You take Joe Rich and Taj, those guys moved here, Stu, and Roll Fools came here, and I feel like that only helped this place gain steam. And as for what makes it such a great place is because there's other riders around who do the same thing professionally. So when I moved away, I have my friends. Some of them rode, not all of them for a living. So when you're getting up in age, your 30s, whatever, you run into clash of lifestyle. So your friends that were 22, 23 now will most likely have a family of their own. So you can't just show up and go riding, or just you hit them up at 10 in the morning or 9. Let's go session. Or they're probably working some IT job or doing other socially norm things.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you. I want to get into all of it. We start off every show, though, by putting our guests on the hot seat. Brad Sims, we have you now. Will you enter the hot box with us? 20 questions. How quickly can you answer them? Are you ready?
20 questions. Are they rapid fire questions or what?
Rapid fire, man. Yes, no, easy answers.
All right, I'll do my best.
All right, here we go. And we're starting. Fries or tater tots?
Fries.
Favorite fast food?
Ooh. P. Terry's.
Ah, true Texan. First CD you ever bought?
Probably Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Go-to food truck in Austin?
El Primo.
Favorite Will Ferrell movie?
What is it, Talladega Nights or something?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Favorite holiday food?
Ooh, favorite holiday food. I want to go with, can't get enough of Turkey Day, huh?
First concert you ever went to?
Funny you asked that. Pennywise in Hamburg, Germany.
I was just going to say somewhere in Southern California, but of course they played Hamburg, Germany, and you saw them. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I already possess all of them, so I'm good on it.
Damn, that's a great answer. Who was your favorite, or who was your BMX hero growing up?
Best hero. My favorite rider growing up was, I would say, the toss-up between Joe Rich and Ruben.
Favorite city to ride BMX in the world?
Oh, don't do that to me. Favorite city. Hey, Paris.
Oh, okay. Favorite breakfast cereal?
Frosted Flakes.
What's one place you've still never been to? Oh, that's a good one for you. That you'd like to go to, I suppose.
Iran.
What was your very first sponsor?
Bike Doctor. Yep, bike shop from Waldorf, Maryland.
Favorite thing to do when you're not on your bike?
Ooh. I'm not on my bike. You know, eat, go. Yeah, I like fine dining.
When was the last time you cut your hair? When did you last cut your dreads?
About 2 months ago.
Favorite pizza topping?
Cheese.
Easy. Jordan or LeBron?
That's not a rapid fire question.
It's just one answer.
All right, Jordan.
Favorite person to ride with?
Probably my friend Matt Samsky.
Weirdest thing you've seen in Austin? I know that's not a rapid fire. Weirdest thing you've seen?
A bunch of guys rolling around in pickup trucks with rifles hanging out the back.
Oh. Favorite coffee shop in Austin? Or favorite cup of coffee in Austin?
Favorite coffee shop, I would go with Benny.
That's it. 342.70. Put it in the books. We'll let you know where you sit in the standings once it gets all official. But you are officially out of the hot box. Congratulations, Brad Sims. That was 20 questions. I noticed the Jordan LeBron, you said that wasn't rapid fire. There might be some layers to that. Any particular reasoning on that? Jordan seems to be, I don't know if anyone's chosen LeBron, but just curious your take on that before we go on.
I mean, I grew up in, Jordan era. I mean, LeBron still here too, For me, Jordan, was the more sensational player. Just all like sheer athleticism and his will and his determination to win. That's why. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I was a huge fan of Jordan. LeBron, an amazing talent, great athlete, but LeBron stands for something more. Like he's also about people and what he's done, like from a humanitarian standpoint. That's the reason why I love LeBron for for his contribution as well.
Yeah. No. Well put. I think especially with the Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary, that man, it feels like that came out forever ago at the beginning of quarantine. But I think it like really put into perspective who he is to like maybe this generation of fan that only knows LeBron as like this greater than life, like monumental, athlete, that there was a guy that did it before him that was a winner, probably unlike any other sports really ever seen before.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my cousin plays ball, and I'm pretty sure LeBron is his favorite. And he's only like 17, so I don't watch that much basketball anymore. But that's when I watched ball was when the Bulls won the 6 championships. It was glued to the TV. I'm just like,
Right. It didn't matter what part of the country you were from. You were like, that's the one thing that I say growing up in like the Bay Area. I was not a Bulls fan, but you were like captivated in the 90s by Michael Jordan because he was just so larger than life. And that's just like, there are a few athletes that kind of cross over that sort of barrier of like, it doesn't matter who you root for. It's like when he's on, you got to watch him.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to make this a Michael Jordan, LeBron James podcast episode, but here we are. I'm curious for somebody like you who travels so much. Obviously, with quarantine, it's been really limiting on travel. especially international travel. The last 5 or 6 months, describe kind of what it's been like for you. I don't know. Have you been on a plane? Have you been able to get out during quarantine?
To be honest with you, it's been amazing. I know
Really?
this. I know some people say this has been the worst year ever for them, and I know people have lost loved ones, and I mean nobody's a stranger to loss. Um, as for me, yeah, I've been on a few flights. I've been out to Cali, back east, um, Pacific Northwest, but this time right now has been a time where I've been able to sit down and plan and
Mm.
you know just kind of take a look at myself and see what I'm doing, because at the beginning of the year I was in a weird situation, in a weird not weird, well, weird position, because I was kind of on the fence, deciding how much longer I wanted to ride bikes because things just were not going great. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna give myself 6 months and see what happens. But I started picking up some new deals, and I just took that time. I knew everybody's going to be watching the whole quarantine thing. I said, you know what, I'm going to just drop video clip after video clip and just see what happens. And I made it happen in 5 instead of 6.
Wow. Yeah, your socials, particularly your Instagram, is a treasure trove of just daily edits and parts, and it's like you you look like you've been. I mean, you've been a machine your whole career, but especially over the last few months, it just feels like on the daily we're getting you at some new spot, doing something different, and I don't know that anybody's got that sort of volume of edits, of even just quick quicks or a trick being posted as much as you have over this quarantine.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm, like 20. To be honest with you, even at 20, I don't think I rode as smart uh, or as creative back then as I am now. So I don't know. I think I just found how to maximize my greatest strengths, and more people they need to understand what works for them and not what works for Brad Sims or what works for Brando, but get back to being the best at being themselves. Because that's really the only way you're gonna be able to kind of manifest like your true talent.
As we said before, obviously part of your BMX career has been your travels, and some of the most exotic places in the world you've gone to and ridden your bike, and that's really kind of set you apart from a lot of other riders. Was that something? I know you've talked about it before in interviews, and certainly like when your Real BMX features, like how important travel is to you. But at what point in your life or in your career did you decide, hey, I want to go to as many places as I can and sort of experience this different cultures and get out of my comfort zone? Because I think you talk to a lot of different athletes. That's a cool experience, and they'll take advantage of that, but maybe they don't seek it out as much as you have. What went into that approach for you, especially early on in your career?
Well, at first it started out as more of an escape route for me, and it just grew into like a big passion of mine, and languages, and just also just wanted to be the person. Even though I know I'm not everybody's favorite rider, but I enjoyed going to these places and giving other riders a chance to meet riders from the U.S. or from wherever, just so they can talk and actually just meet someone outside of where they live and show them that, hey, like, it's possible for you to go out and accomplish these things.
You mentioned Paris is perhaps your favorite city on the planet to ride, but what was the trip that maybe was the most eye opening for you, or humbling, that just kind of put into perspective maybe you know, how good we really have it here, and just kind of makes you appreciate life all that much more. You know, when you talk about maybe interacting with people that don't get a chance to meet a pro BMX rider, or even somebody, you know, that's comes from a different place from them.
The trip, I think, most eye-opening, either traveling through Central Asia with my friend Matt, or like the 6 months like in Africa, because a lot of those countries, they don't have the infrastructure. They have
Mm-hmm.
they don't have the infrastructure. Some of them, yeah, some of them don't have the infrastructure. Some of the ones that do, the riders, they aren't necessarily they haven't done enough, or they simply they've seen everything, but there's no one around for them to really push them to the next level, to make them, to get them to, to believe in themselves. So that's one of the hardest things, like self-belief. I'm talking like Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, those countries. That trip was super eye-opening, because like just going from one city to the next city it might take 6-7 hours on dirt roads. Same with some of the countries in Africa. Like I rode with a bunch of my friends in Tanzania, and you can only ride some street there because of the government. Like you have to they need permission, like permits, to ride everywhere. If not, then they'll get in trouble. So when I went out street riding with them, they automatically told me, like, this is off limits, that's off limits. You cannot ride there. This is what will happen. And it was kind of strange for me, because I'm used to going out, and if I go ride a spot, no matter if it's a government building, they'll just walk aside and say, hey, get out of here. You can't ride here. And that's kind of it. But over there, they run the risk of going to jail, or getting, there's something worse happening.
I'm curious for you. I always wonder this with people who travel a lot, especially abroad. What is your routine for flights, like international flights? Are you the type that just knocks out and is like, wake me up when I get there? Or do you just binge watch as many movies or shows as you can on the flight to kind of pass the time? Because I have trouble sleeping on the long international flights.
Man, if I can sleep, I'll sleep, because I've been on more flights. I mean, same for you. I mean, we've been on more. I've had enough flying for 3 generations of knowledge, so I'm good there. Yeah,
Catch up on your sleep when you can.
Yeah, if I can sleep, I'm happy with that. If not, I'll sit up. Like I've sat through a 17-hour flight before with no earphones, and not sleeping, just twiddling my thumbs, or just kind of reading a book. I'll read a book, like sleep if I can. If not, I'll watch a movie. That's pretty much, that's it. I don't watch too many. I was thinking, did you ask me something about watching movies about the place I'm going, or just watching movies, or just doing something to kill time on flight?
Real BMX just wrapped up, and you've had the opportunity to ride in that a couple of times and win some medals along the ride, along with fan favorite, the vote. I'm sure that's that's always such a great testament to your riding for that particular year of Real BMX. What is it about that contest that presents such an appeal, like something that you want to get into, but also the challenges that come along with it?
Okay, for Real BMX, in terms of a video part, I feel like it's the high platform you can perform on. It's appealing because the challenge is there. You have a minute and a half to do, your best tricks. In a minute and a half, you have to be selective. You can't do. I mean, if you do one trick and it's not really worth the time, worth a place on the timeline, you could end up. That could cost you. One trick could cost you just too long and not having enough time alive. So for me, I feel like it's a challenge. It's pretty nerve wracking, to be honest.
Right.
And I'm used to operating at a high level, all the time. So I go out and work on a video, making something in a few weeks. So like having months to complete a video is actually kind of strange, because what I end up doing is outrouting myself. I might film something, then I'll go out and like, oh yeah, I can go do something better. So I prefer to have a small window to work on the video. Like if I had 3 years to work on a video part, I'd probably kill myself.
Yeah, that's interesting, because we talk to athletes across all disciplines, right? Whether it's real skate or real snow, real BMX, certainly. And that's always the challenge, right? That very small window of time to like stack tricks, and not being accustomed to a deadline like that certainly shifts the way you ride. So it's interesting to hear you say you actually prefer kind of being given that that date of like, yo, you need this edit done by this time. I'm also curious because I think it happened. Was it last year when you were filming where you messed up your wrist really bad, like broke your wrist? I
Shoulder.
mean, when that happens, when you're filming, shoulder, yeah. When you're filming, especially something like this, and it's like time is money. You know, you don't have 2 or 3 months to like kind of sit back and you just feel like you got to get after it. I mean, how demoralizing is that, especially when you feel like you're starting to put the edit together?
It was, man. It was an obstacle, because up until that time, I hadn't hurt my probably, I don't know, 15, 16 years. I didn't need any surgery. It was just an AC joint septo. It's just one of those annoying injuries where you have to wait like 5, 6 weeks. So yeah, it was weird and a challenge for me, because it's not really, I don't know, injuries like that haven't been a part of my career, and I've been fortunate enough to say that.
I mean, is that still lingering? Does that still affect you at all? Is it fully healed?
It is still lingering. I need to do some physical work on it. I can ride. It's not really giving me any problems. It's more so if I want to like, throw something. If I want to throw a ball or whatever, that's when, or just crossing across my chest. That's where it kind of gives me some problems. So my range of motion is not the best.
Real the real contest is so, it values so much, not just the tricks and how the edit is put together, but really kind of the simpatico nature between filmer and writer. How did you go about choosing who filmed your part? Is that who usually films your stuff when you guys are out in the streets? How did you come to that decision? Because it really is a collaboration.
It's funny you asked that, because when I first started filming with Christian, he and I knew of each other, but we had never met. So I was just out at the park one day because my filmer, the one I had chosen, my original filmer, bailed on me for the first video. So I was at the park riding and I saw Christian. I knew he had a great setup, and Christian and Chad had won silver medal the previous year. I liked his work, so I just walked over to him, chatted for a bit. I was like, "Hey man, I don't have a filmer for Real BMX. I don't know how busy you are in the next month or so, but if you have time, I would love to work with you." And he agreed to. He jumped right on board, and I went home, and we just did it.
Whoa, that's crazy. Like you're just
So
like out. That was with Christian, and you guys ended up getting a medal.
Yeah, we won a medal. We won a fan favorite. And after about I'll say a week or two, we formed a bond and started talking, and won that, and went back for round 2, and same thing again. It was Christian's easy to work with, man. He's always down for a mission, just super positive, very just he's motivated. So even when you go out and might be something like Christian will, if he can move a a semi out of the way with his hands. If it's in his power, he will slide that truck out of the way and make it happen so he can get the clip.
God, that's got to be, as a writer, that has to be so gratifying to know that there's somebody who's as committed as you are, you know, on this particular project, and kind of like, come hell or high water, like, let's get this done. Let's do what we got to do. Right.
Yep. Exactly. And doesn't matter how hot, how cold, he is. Yeah, he's committed. He's there 100%. Yeah,
I love the idea of like you approaching him at the park and just being like, hey, would you want to film my Real BMX park? Clearly he's fresh off that silver medal performance with Chad, right? So I guess, you know, hot on the block, but like, it's just amazing because I just feel like there are so many guys who would, you know, kill for that opportunity. And here you are kind of like solicit, like, hey, would you be interested? It's like, yeah, Brad, absolutely. And obviously it worked for you guys for a couple of years.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So I knew he already knew the criteria, you know. Yeah, they were fresh off of silver. The video was great. I said, yeah, I don't feel like we can do nothing wrong. And
how about year one?
Yes
year one, you obviously you win a medal, you get the fan favorite, which means you're coming back, so you're invited back. That had to have been good for, I assume, so many riders who get the experience for real and they do it and they don't get a medal or they don't get invited back the following year. Obviously it stings, but maybe even more frustrating because there might be unfinished business from a particular spot where you were trying to get a trick or something like that. So how good was it just knowing that you were going to come back in 2019 because maybe you could go back to a spot or multiple spots where you didn't get the trick that you wanted before, you know, the year before?
I think it gives you, there's nothing that I actually wanted to go back to. So we just hit all fresh spots. I think for some riders, yeah, it may hurt because they may not have anything that they, you know, want to, yeah, man, I don't know, maybe work as hard towards or something like on that level. Not going back the second time, you know, it'd be difficult. But I don't know, you just kind of take it and just go with it.
I hear you. So Brad, thank you. You've been so gracious with your time. I've got one final question, and I think this is like I think it's amazing that you kind of said at the top of the interview that pre sort of quarantine late last year, you're starting to wonder about the future, right? Like, you know, what's in store for me professionally on a bike moving forward? Do I have to think, you know, beyond this now, maybe for the first time in my adult life? And then some things triggered, some things changed. You put some parts out there. So now how has this vision been reshaped as we're kind of rounding third, let's say, of 2020 for the next couple of years for you? Do you feel like you've still got a lot left in the tank that you'll be able to showcase the BMX world?
I think I do. As long as I have, I moved to the beat of my own drum. I don't necessarily need 10 or 15 people around me I don't need hype men. I need a cameraman. That's what I need. A cameraman, someone who's just as hungry as me. And I'll continue to push myself. You know, I'm challenging me. You know, I'm about maximizing my greatest assets. So as long as I have, you know, proper representation and the motivation to continue going, I'll be there. As far as, yeah, like, you know, sponsors and stuff goes, there's new things on the horizon. And I think after this year, yeah, things will be life-changing. A friend of mine, I was talking to the other day, he said, you can grind hard for 10 years, but if you don't get through to the 11th, you don't know what will happen.
Yeah, that's well said. That puts things in perspective really well, man. Well, Brad, I appreciate the time. I know as soon as we get off the phone, you're going to grab that bike and hit the streets. And hopefully I see you around town, man. All the best.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's catch up grab dinner or whatever.
Oh yeah, man.
Down.
I'm always around. Let's grab it. Let's head to a food truck, and I'll meet you at the park or meet you at the streets, man. All the best.